Kwab, one more week to go, baby. One more week to go.
We're almost there.
They need to come. Actually, you know what? The Western Conference already feels like the playoffs. It already feels like the playoffs. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing from the Western Conference. As a Knicks fan, I'm bored. I'm really bored. Like, there are things that I'm like looking forward to.
You're bored. I'm a Nets fan. I'm watching Drew Timmy start for my team. Relax.
Timmy!
Like enjoy the playoffs, buddy.
I don't mean that in a way where it's like, oh, we're so good that I'm bored. It's like, no, the East is boring. Like, I don't mean it.
It just feels like it's set in stone what's going to happen.
Yeah, the Knicks are going to be the 3 seed. The Magic number's 1. Pacers are good, but just not enough time for them to come back and overtake the Knicks. It is what it is. Kwab, let's get started with our power rankings. Coming in at number 10, it's the Denver Nuggets. This team has fallen from grace in our power rankings at 47 and 32. They are the 4 seed in the West. Last week, guess who they beat? Nobody. Losses to the T-Wolves, Spurs, Warriors, and Pacers, man. This team, listen, a lot of when people talk about this team, they talk about like, man, Jokic needs help. Jokic needs help, and I don't really know if it's necessarily that. I understand that it's partially that. I think when Murray's healthy, he has help. MPJ's a significant source of help. Christian Brown's been having a good year. Aaron Gordon has been fine offensively. It's defense, man. It's defense with the Nuggets. I watched them play a significant amount of time, and they just continually give up open three-pointers after open three-pointers. And I mean open, bro. They can't guard the pick and roll. I think the narrative of, like, Jokic needs more help, I get where it's coming from because he's having 60-point triple-doubles and putting up, like, video game numbers. But to me, like, this team could just guard. They just play defense. They would have a few more wins, and we wouldn't be having these discussions.
Said if they should just guard. And then, I completely understand what you're saying. Defensively, they've been struggling. They've been struggling all year. Like you said, Jokic, video game numbers. Their main thing, besides the defense, has been their health. I feel like when they're healthy, they've been great. They were going on a ridiculous run when they were healthy. When they got Aaron Gordon back, they got everybody back. Like, they've had moments where players have been out and other players have been able to step up, like Russell Westbrook and so on and so forth. Even though he's had like a terrible week in terms of that game, but for them to be successful in this upcoming playoff run, they need to be healthy. I think the defense, it is what it is. Could they turn on a switch at this point? I
don't know. We are a show that's actually had him higher than other shows.
Yes.
Like, when other shows have been saying this about the Nuggets, we're like, oh, coming in at number 5, it's the Nuggets because they're the 2 or 3, whatever it's been. But going into what is going to be like a playoff type week for the Western Conference, coming off of 4 straight losses, to me the Pacers embarrassed them. It's
tough. I mean, they're without.
We can't justify putting them over other teams that have been on absolute fire right now.
And on top of that, we don't have the Clippers in our top 10. It wasn't my fault this time.
It wasn't. This was the first time where I was just kind of like, I think we got to keep them out just for now because I feel like there are other teams are a little bit better.
A little bit better. It wasn't my fault this time. So, like you said, the West is kind of just so bunched up. But them without a healthy Jamal Murray, you're gonna have situations like this because where they get like blown out by the Pacers. Like, he's such a big factor in your offense. Granted, I'm talking about offense again when it comes to the Nuggets, but like Jokic, like what Jokic does on the court, ridiculous. Some people still have him as the MVP just because of what he's been doing all year, and the dialogue has been like, oh, he needs more help. He has to help if they're healthy. Yes, the GM has taken away significant, important players that contributed on the defensive side, like Caldwell Pope and Bruce Brown, but it is what it is now. So, I mean, this is the team y'all got.
All right, coming in at number 9, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves making. I don't think it's their debut. I think they were way earlier in the year, but coming in. Actually, no, they weren't because they got off to such a slow start. This might be their debut, Kwab. Holy crap! The Minnesota Timberwolves, 46 and 32. Right now, they're the 7 seed. They're a half game behind the Nuggets, so the 4-7 thing is not that big of a discrepancy. But with wins over the Pistons against the Nuggets, who they apparently own, the Nets and the Sixers. The T-Wolves are very interesting because they keep winning games, and I don't want to say, like, I don't know how they're doing it. Rudy has been playing better from what I've seen. Anthony has hit a ridiculous clutch shot against the 76ers. They got a little lucky against the Nuggets, let's be honest, like getting fouled on the 3 at the buzzer. You know, if that doesn't happen, you lose that game. I'm not saying we're having a different conversation because they've been hot. I like the T-Wolves. I think they've been playing better. I don't like their late game offense still. I think it's very ant-centric, and, teams are going to trap them. That's where Julius Randle's supposed to come into play, but Julius Randle hasn't really produced much in the clutch for me from the games that I've watched. And admittedly, so Timberwolves fans, correct me if I'm wrong. Admittedly, I think I haven't watched too many Timberwolves games. Julius hasn't really been a factor in the clutch. From what I've watched, it's been kind of just Anthony, stagnant offense, and not much else. Naz Reid hasn't been as good as he was last year. Something's going on there. I was reading up on some article. I think it might have been like a Sports Nation type article that his attitude or he's just not, the vibe's not the same with Naz. So I don't know what's going on over there. T-Wolves fans, comments again. Let us know. I could be wrong. But listen, they've been hot. And a big reason they might be the 4 seed, bro. For the reason this is crazy. Like, look, the T-Wolves got off to such a slow start, and all of a sudden, now they're back to, I don't know if they're being lauded as like Western Conference contenders, but they're a bona fide playoff team, or you would think. Depends. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think with them too, it's been like them getting healthy has been a factor in this. Like with Randall was hurt, was kind of in and out the lineup start of the year.
Gobert was hurt for a little too.
Gobert was hurt. Dante has been in and out of the lineup with injuries also, and those two were like having, I think that factored into their inconsistent play, because having those two pieces with Julius and Dante, your two acquisitions, I can speak, your 2 trade acquisitions when you traded away Cat, you need time to gel. Yeah. And figure out how everybody's playing. I think they've found their style of play finally, and you have certain players stepping up, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's been playing really well throughout the stretch, which has helped them greatly. But it comes down to Ant. Like, if Ant is playing consistent, like, he's been shooting the crap out the ball all year. Like, in terms of his 3-point percentage and his attempts. So, like this, I think, you're right. This might be the first time. I think we might have had him earlier, but
maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe. Definitely not in the beginning of the year, because they got off to a slow start and everybody was panicking.
Yeah, we were definitely like, we definitely were like, why did you make the trade still? Like you said, the West is crazy because they could move all the way up to like maybe 4. Like it's
wild.
It's wild.
Yeah. Who knew?
Who knew?
Coming in at number 8, it's the Indiana Pacers. They are the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference with wins over the Kings, the Hornets, the Jazz, and the Nuggets. They lost to nobody last week. This team made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they have already matched their win total from last year. With 4 games left, they have a chance. If they just win 1 game, they improved on an Eastern Conference Finals year. So shout out to Indiana. I said this. I know I keep talking about this. Every single time we talk about Pacers, went to a Pacers Heat game in Miami, and I was like, "Oh, these are playing defense."
Yeah.
I think they shed that like only offensive team that's terrible at defense. I think they've shed that reputation. The bench is deep. They all play well together. Miles Turner's had a really good year. Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, kind of like low key, have had really good years. I know Tyrese has his moments where it's like, he's not what we thought he'd be, but for the most part, he's been really good. And their offense, I mean, it's like the prototypical modern day offense. Yeah. I think it's a very hard offense to guard. If I'm a Knicks fan going into a series against them again, I'd be petrified. I more so than last year. Last year I was really confident. It just so happened that the Knicks got hurt. But this year, the way that the Knicks can't guard the pick and roll, it would petrify me if I'm a Knicks fan. But I don't think that's going to happen because obviously the Knicks are 3 seed, blah, 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 whatever. But shout out to the Pacers. Really good season. They deserve more flowers. This happens all the time. Every time we leave the Pacers out, because they're not always out.
Yeah.
But every time the Pacers are out of our top 10, like I get like yelled at in the comments section. We get yelled at in the comments section.
Like, what about the Pacers? We're like,
no, literally, like I'm sick of the Pacers being disrespected. And it's like, maybe they went like 1-3 or something like that.
Yeah. We like the Pacers, man.
Yeah, I mean, every time we talk about the Pacers, it's not but good things.
Yeah, we like the Pacers, man. And to your point, like their offense has always been top notch. When they play the defense, their high level defense, they're a great team. Like when they play, when their defense, the defensive side steps up, they're a great team. Halliburton has been on like a crazy run in terms of assists and like no turnovers.
Yeah.
Like
I wish he
very
was
low
more aggressive
turnovers.
shooting the basketball. When you can score like that, man, you gotta
Yeah,
shoot.
I mean, he's not having the what is it, the Steph Curry run he was having last year, but
Yeah.
he's gotten to a level of like consistency where you're like, okay,
Yeah.
there's that like top point guard, one of the best point guards in the league. There he is, because
Yeah.
he was kind of having like just a rough year in terms of early on, or an inconsistent year in terms of shooting and stuff. But like you said, the way they run their offense in terms of their wings and their shooting, modern day offense, like you're gonna be tough in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, coming in at number 7, it's the New York Knicks at 50-28. They are the 3 seed in the East. 50 wins, second straight season. So shout out to the New York Knicks. My favorite team has been a laughingstock since my teenage years, essentially. So it's we're over here celebrating 2 straight seasons of 50-plus wins, and I know you have organizations like the Celtics and the Cavs and the Warriors. Like, oh, that's cute, but let us live. Let us live. This team is fugazi. That's why they're at number 7. It just is what it is. They're not winning a championship this year. In at number 7, Brunson's back. But I will say this. If OG Anunoby can play the way he's been playing lately, maybe they could be a dark horse. I don't know what's gotten into him. Dude looks incredible. I'm like, wow, what did you inject into yourself? Like, what shaman did you see? What did you do when Jalen Brunson went down for you to have the audacity to act like Michael Jordan all of a sudden? So I don't know if they're going to get this OG Anunoby in the playoffs. I don't know how they solve the situation with Cat being put in the pick and roll all the time. I think teams are just going to pick on that and harp on that. And unless Cat miraculously just gets better or Mitchell Robinson's able to cover up those deficiencies, I don't know how this team gets past the Celtics, who they will be facing in the second round. So that's a large part why they're at 7. Also, the East is weaker than the West. And if I'm just being honest, I don't think they deserve to be placed above the teams we have in front of them, especially when the few times that they've played them, the past few they've lost those games. So Knicks coming in at number 7.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster year in terms of Knicks fandom for you, just because it felt like starting on a high with all the trades and the picks, and you had very high expectations. But as the season progressed and as you saw them play against the top teams, you're like, yeah, this might not be.
Hold on. No, it's been like the trade happened, and there was like a we'll see. And
I'm
then
not saying.
then they got
rephrase that.
Obliterated.
Let me rephrase
by
that.
the
Not
Celtics.
for you, because you've been very, very steadfast in your opinion and your feelings about how you inconsistent and how bad the Knicks have looked since game 1.
Yeah.
And how we talked about the trade a million times. So it's like, I'm just saying, I'm talking more in general with Knicks fans that I see online, how they felt about everything. So especially like you guys will have great games. Like, okay, maybe this is the team that we envision. And then it's like, oh, we just got mollywopped and you get all upset again. Positives are Jalen Brunson has been having a great year. Him coming back, that's great. Like, it's not we're worried about the ankle injury. He's coming back, so that's good. OG playing out of his mind. I don't know if you guys need to make sure like Suni Lee is like
or just some type of baddie. Because it's not just Suni Lee. It's been like
the man
a
stopped
plethora of women throughout the year. Yeah.
The man stopped. He was open break. He stopped, looked, and then did a 360 dunk. I was like, okay.
Bro, even if we just have to get the Knicks City Dancer sitting courtside every home game, let's just do it.
If that's what you need, like, but the positive thing about it is like, I think you know who your clear cut number 1 is in terms of the team when it comes to offense is Jalen, and then it's like Cat, and you were hoping it would be like Mikal or OG.
Or OG. I think OG would. I just was hoping Mikal would be more like Dante. Like, honestly, he's been the only shooting guard who's really fit comfortably. Because Grimes wasn't comfortable.
Yeah.
Mikal has not been comfortable. Deuce can be comfortable, but like, I don't know what clicked with Dante last year. That was something special.
He went on like an effort mode, like where he was just like, I'm open, I'm shooting. So you were hoping you'll get that from, but like OG has been fantastic. Josh Hart has been, I think he's been fantastic in terms of like basically being a triple double threat, just kind of filling in the area. So I think the underrated part about OG playing so well is that come playoff time, not a lot of teams, maybe apart from like maybe the Celtics, the Thunder, and the Houston Rockets have multiple like perimeter defenders. So most of the time, the best defender is gonna be guarding Jalen.
Yes, for
So
sure. Yeah.
it has to be guarding Jalen. So that if OG stepping up this consistently, and you can get some consistent play from Mikal and Josh, anything can happen. That's my optimistic take for you, just because I'm your friend. I know you're a Knicks fan, so yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Let's move on. Coming in at number 6. This is where we get cursed out.
Let's do it.
From here on out, these six fan bases are going to be mad at whatever they're at, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Let us know in the comments how you would have done the top 6 differently, because I think you could make a case for hundreds of different comments. I don't know the problem. I don't know. Like, I forgot how you do this.
But we like our top 6, so should you.
I guess. Coming at
You're the
number
confidence.
6. Coming in at number 6, we have the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Right now, they're the 3 seed. Wins over the Rockets, Pelicans, and Thunder. They did lose to the Warriors in a very impressive game by Golden State that kind of changed my mind about how I felt about Golden State. Well, I wouldn't say changed my mind. I made up my mind about how I felt about Golden State. I still don't know how I feel about the Lakers. They beat the out of the Thunder, bro. They kicked the living crap out of them. Yeah. I think that in a 7-game series, I think they have as good a chance as anyone to knock off the Thunder. I could see them losing to other teams in the West, though. So for me, the Western Conference is going to be so matchup based. I don't know who I'm going to pick to win the West just yet. The Lakers, for me, the reason why I suggested they be at 6, it was me. Kwab went along with it, was because I still don't know what I think of them. I don't know. They confuse me. They've lost to really bad teams, and they've beat really good teams. Their defense, when they traded for Luka, was started off really good. Then it took a nosedive. At the end of the day, the playoffs, and shout out to my boy Darnell, who says this to me all the time in our group chat, the playoffs is about people who can get buckets, and they have Luka Doncic, and LeBron James. And at the end of the day, like, that counts for something in the playoffs. So you could say whatever you want during the regular season, but do the Thunder have 2 players like that? And Austin Reeves, yeah. So do the Thunder have 3 players who can go get a bucket like that? You know, do the Warriors? You know, do the Rockets? No, they don't. So we have them at 6 here, but I do realize, Laker fans, how dangerous they can be in the playoffs. I'm having a hard time just, like, definitively having an opinion on this team.
I think the game against the Thunder kind of showed you what the Lakers' formula would be against, like, a team like the Thunder. Essentially, like, slow it down, get a mismatch. If they double, find an open shooter. And when you're knocking down shots, it looks ridiculous. Like, they tied the record for most shots in a half. Similar to what they kind of tried with the Warriors, where they were mismatch hunting, waiting for the double, kicking to the shooter. Warriors did a better job rotating out. They didn't hit as many shots that game, so that factored into it until, like, maybe the 4th quarter. So, like, I think they have their formula of how they want to play offensively, even defensively. Like, we've seen it throughout the course of the season. They have Luka, they have LeBron, and they have AR. Those are 3 players that can go get you a bucket, like you said. They do have question marks. One being their size. They essentially have to play small ball a lot because the only center they have that I think they trust is Jackson Hayes, which kind of stinks because if they had another, like, lob threat, it would be. I think would feel like more confident and would have them higher. Yeah. But I like them where they are. Like, even as a 3 seed, like, matchups are going to matter in this Western Conference playoffs, and I think we have that feeling for every team in the West. Like, these matchups are going to matter. We know how good the Lakers can be, but we also see how inconsistent and bad they can be too.
All right, coming in at number 5, and I'll be honest with you, the reason why they're at 5 and not 4 is because of the game that we just recapped last night, and it's the Golden State Warriors. Took an L against the Rockets Rockets move above you. I'm sorry. That's just the way it
Yep.
goes. Listen, they're 21-4 with Jimmy Butler. That's insane. They're 46-32 right now. They're the 6th seed. Last week, they beat the Grizzlies, the Lakers, and the Nuggets. They lost to the Rockets. That is a tough 4-game stretch. They go 3-1. That is so impressive. It really is. I got nothing bad to say about the Warriors. Even though they did catch an L to the Rockets, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose games. You're 21-4 with Jimmy Butler, and a Jimmy Butler that I might add, who hasn't really been. He's been good and he's fit in perfectly, but he hasn't been the standout all-star Jimmy Butler who can take over a game for Golden State. And I'm anxious to see if he ever turns into that this year with the team, or if he kind of transforms that into the playoffs, because he could take this team from here to here to me. And you saw in the Rockets game where I feel like that's what they needed when, the Rockets were face guarding Steph all day and just not letting him beat them. Where was Jimmy? Jimmy was, he had the ball in his hands and he was making plays and he was hitting people for open threes. The Warriors just could not hit timely threes. Would like to see Jimmy Butler take more than 7 shots in a game against the Lakers, 9 against the Warriors. You're Jimmy Butler, bro. This is why they got you. So I do think the Warriors have a really high ceiling. Again, it's matchups because they look really small sometimes, especially when Draymond's not out there. You made that point in our post game. So 5, because of their 21-4 record with Jimmy Butler, it's been fantastic since he's been here. But not high enough because of the team we have in front of them. They just called an L against.
I think you've been harping on that point about wanting to see more aggressive and consistent play from Jimmy Butler. I don't know if he's just waiting for the playoffs to, I guess, turn on that switch.
And they're 21-4, so it's working.
Yeah. It's working. Yeah, it's working. It's kind of just finding his spots and being cool with it. I mean, we all seen what he does during the playoffs, where he's probably one of the few players I've seen decide, I'm gonna turn on the switch now and be a different player, and he does that a lot. He was doing that on the Miami Heat. I wonder how it looks now, how it would look throughout the playoffs on the Golden State, because Steph is going to see a lot of attention. So Jimmy has to be aggressive.
Yeah.
On top of that, we've talked about they need somebody else to step up throughout the course of any series. So it might be Pods, it might be Kuminga, it might be Moody, just anybody else, just to, in terms of offense, just to get some consistent play for them. So yeah, they need Jimmy to be that Jimmy, but we'll see what it looks like. I think he will turn up more just because whoever they match up with, Steph is going to see the crazy amount of attention, and Jimmy will have the opportunity to go more one-on-one and just be aggressive.
All right, coming in at number 4, we have the Houston Rockets. I know a lot of big media market people are not going to like this, but listen, bro, the Rockets are the 2 seed. All right, they're 52-27. They're coming off a week where they lost to the Lakers, but they beat the Jazz. They beat the Thunder and the Warriors. This team is on some level for real. You know what I mean? They're not fugazi. You can say whatever you want about the Rockets in the sense of I don't like how they match up against this team, and you could have your genuine concerns that we have too, where it's when the game slows down in the playoffs, how are they going to generate offense? I think that is perfectly reasonable, right? But these other teams have concerns too.
Yep.
They have Luka and LeBron, so it kind of gets overshadowed. They have Steph, so it gets overshadowed. The Rockets have been a better team all year. They're the 2 seed for a reason. Their defense is phenomenal, and they do have nice young talent. I think it would be doing them a disservice, and we'd be actually living in denial if we didn't put them where they are right now, especially in a week where they just beat the Thunder and the Warriors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they would have caught 2 L's, then they're yeah, I get it, but I'm sorry. I will defend putting the Rockets over the Warriors and Lakers for now. Now, I think what we should do, Kwab, going into the playoffs, especially when we have the seeding, we don't have a power rankings top 10, but we have a contenders top 10. Maybe I'll change my mind then, depending on how I see the bracket, blah, 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 blah. But for right now, power rankings, man, this team's a 2 seed, 52 wins, coming off a really good week. How? No, bro, 4 seed. They're the 4. They're 4.
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. Winning those 2 games back to back would kind of, like we said, give us a little bit okay, that's the Rockets brand of basketball that they're playing in terms of defensively, just being overly aggressive, running in transition. When the game, for them, when I guess in the half court slows down, throwing the ball to Şengün, you have an all-star center, so use him. With a team that coming into the season, they didn't really have a lot of changes in terms of adding a lot of players. It's basically the players they drafted, and it's been a lot of internal growth from their players. So you saw Şengün becoming an all-star. We see Amen Thompson just becoming a bona fide star. Like you said yesterday, like he's easily the best perimeter player in the league. Like perimeter defender. Yeah, defender. Not play. I'm sorry. One of the best perimeter defenders in the league. You've seen his growth. You've seen Jalen Green become overly consistent. And that's what I think Rockets fans always want from him. You see his his talent. You just want him to be more consistent. You're getting
smarter too.
Smarter. You're getting good play from Dillon Brooks, Tari Eason defensively, even offensively, been a matchup nightmare. Jabari Smith knocking down shots. They have a lot of talent, and they've been playing really well. So I think where we have them is fine. We again, like you said, we have concerns. Just because the other things, it's just a young team. How are they gonna look during playoff time? Blah blah blah. But they've been fantastic. A lot of people didn't think they would be this good this quickly. They would have this higher for seeding, and that's props to them. Props to Udoka. So this team could be for like you said, they're not Fugazi. They're not Fugazi.
Yeah, they're not. If you knock them out, you're knocking them out in 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy. It's not going to be an easy matchup.
It's going to be a street fight, and you're walking home bloody, with respect for that team.
Yep.
All right, coming in at number 3, it's the Boston Celtics, 58-20. They're the 2 seed. Wins over the Grizzlies, Suns, and Wizards. They did lose to the Heat. They have been on fire lately. They've been 9-1 in the past 10 games, and I think even going back further than that, they've just been kicking the crap out of everybody. The Celtics, we say this a lot when we talk about the Celtics. We know what we're getting with the Celtics, right? Yeah. There's no surprises with the Celtics. When they lose games in the regular season, it's kind of like, are they bored, or just things of that nature. The Celtics, I don't know what else to say about them. If KP's healthy, they could spread the floor. You know what you're gonna get from them. You're gonna get 53s. Can you guard the pick and pop? Spread you out. We're going to find the weak link on defense, and we're going to go at them. And then defensively, when they turn it up, they're as good as anybody in the league. So the most I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I guess the most sure thing for me is the Boston Celtics in this league.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just feel who they are, especially after winning a championship and essentially bringing everybody back. They've known who they are since game 1. They know how they want to play, what they want to do in terms of shooting a lot of threes, forcing you to take tough twos, and defending the hell out of the ball. Their defense is always going to travel. One of the main points you said in the beginning when you're talking about them is if KP's healthy. If they're healthy, they feel like a short thing.
They won the finals without KP last year. If you think didn't KP wasn't healthy
Yeah, good call. Yeah, good call.
I mean, he played in some.
He played, but
he wasn't healthy.
Yeah, but their top, what is it, 7 or 8 players that they have? They know who they are. On the go. So like you said, they feel like one of the sure things in the East.
All right, coming in at number 2, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, are the 1 seed in the East with wins over the Clippers, Knicks, and Spurs. They did lose to the Kings. They've been playing much better as of late. To me. Just a really impressive year overall. I mean, I guess this is the last week of the season, so we can just reflect on the year that they had. Evan Mobley took a massive step forward. Donovan Mitchell was having kind of an MVP campaign. Ty Jerome off the bench is one of our favorite players in the league. Just overall, Kenny Atkinson has done such a fantastic job. I think he should win Coach of the Year. He's my vote for Coach of the Year personally. And the Cavaliers, for me, are the only threat to the Boston Celtics in the East. I think the East is just a very boring conference this year because I think, honestly, it's the Cavs and Celtics and no one else. I think the Cavs can beat the Celtics, because it's very possible the Celtics go hold from 3. Live by the 3, die by the 3.
Yeah.
The defense for the Cavs have slipped off as of late since the start of the calendar year. That's kind of concerning, but they do have the ability there. And they do have the personnel to switch on the pick and pop to guard the perimeter. Evan Mobley can go out there and guard KP, and he can guard him inside too. Jared Allen could protect the rim while he's doing that. They have the personnel to beat the Celtics, and they have the offensive firepower to beat the Celtics. And to me, they've gone back and forth from 1, 2, and 3 in our power rankings. In at number 2, simply they're the second best record in the league. I think in the weaker conference, they haven't been playing as well, even though they have picked it up a little bit as they were in the beginning of the year. So coming in number 2.
Yeah. Shout out to Cavs. Shout out Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome propaganda. So staying strong. I'll say I second everything you said with the Cavs. My only concern with the Cavs would be, and this is such a minute, very minor to this. They're too comfortable starting slow in games. They're way too comfortable like starting slow and then like bombarding you in the third quarter or like bombarding you in the second quarter and winning and then blowing you out. But they're too comfortable starting slow in games. I don't know how that might look during playoffs and certain matchups against a team like the Celtics. You might not be able to get away with that. So that's my only concern with that. But like you said, fantastic year. Atkinson is coach of the year. There's other coaches that have been phenomenal, but just what he's done with this team, I feel like nobody really expected it, and they've been great.
All right, coming in at number 1, it's the OKC Thunder, 64-14. They were on pace possibly for 70 wins. They're not going to get it. They're the 1 seed in the West. Beat the Bulls and Pistons last week. They did lose to the Rockets and Lakers, though. But they do have the best record in the league. I personally have not watched a Thunder game in like 2 weeks, if I'm being honest with you. So definitely, we're trying to recap one this. Which one are we trying to recap? It's
Lakers,
the Thunder
against
and
Lakers.
Thunder. Yeah, Lakers and Thunder.
Lakers
We're
tomorrow.
going to try to do a recap to that. Best record in the league. For me, it still feels right. I think they're the best team in the West. They're going to be the number 1 seed. I think they're the favorites. You know, if you're going to ask me who I would pick to leave the West, to get out the West, I think just instinctually I would say the Thunder, even though we are talking a lot about the Lakers and the Warriors and the Rockets. I still think there is a little bit of a gap there with the Thunder just because of how good they can be defensively. The question is going to be offensively. Like, yes, SGA can get a bucket. Jalen Williams can get a bucket too. You know, are they going to have, you know, a cold streak like they did against the Mavs last year? That's what I think. And I don't know. You know, we'll see how these teams play them defensively, but they've been the best team for most parts of the year. I think the Cavs had that title for a while, too. The Celtics had too many valleys to be considered the best team in the league, for me, personally. I think back and forth with the Cavs, and just right now, better record. Last week of power rankings, I think it feels right to put the Thunder at number 1.
Yeah, like you said, it's been between them and the Cavs, like 1A and 1B, like in terms of best team in the league. Shea's having an MVP season. Probably is gonna win it. We'll see how.
Watch your mouth, Kwab.
We'll see how that goes.
You're gonna bring out.
But
the whole country of Serbia is about to be in our comment section.
Hey man, they've been having a phenomenal year. I think with the Thunder, when I watch the Thunder, it's like they have options in terms not offensively but defensively, like that they can throw at you, like with Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Casey Wallace, even Wiggins, even Shea's having a great year defensively. During the course of a playoff series, they're gonna need like players to step up. So they're gonna need like Jalen Williams to be more consistently offensively. They're gonna need Chet. How they play through Isaiah Hartenstein is gonna factor in too. So all that's gonna factor in during the course of like a playoff series. But I feel like they're the best team in the West, and I would be shocked if they don't come out the West.
Really, you'd be shocked.
I'll be shocked if they don't come. Just been beaten up on so many, like everybody. It just felt like they've been up on everybody. But yeah, I'll be shocked. But again, like we've been saying all throughout the course of this, is like it's matchup dependent. You never know.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our power rankings. The last one of the year. I think Kwab and I, like I said, I think a top 10 contenders list. I guess the power rankings can be that, but I don't really treat the power rankings that way. It's kind of like a culmination of like, this is how well you play. Like, this is what your record is. This is where you're in the standings mixed with how you've been playing. A combination of a lot of different things. I think it's different than being a contender in my mind. Like, I'll just be honest with you, I wouldn't have the Boston Celtics at 3 if this was a contenders list. Just being completely honest. So maybe we'll do that. We'll see. Kwab and I are going to try to do episodes for each playoff series. It's going to be a lot. Definitely going to have a full episode of our playoff predictions, play-in predictions as well. We're going to enjoy the last week of the season. We're going to be reacting to specifically Western Conference games because there's a lot at stake there. So we look forward to that. Hopefully you can join us for that. We're going to hopefully have a full episode like I just said, and then playoff previews. Until then, you can follow us at the Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab AKS. We will see you tomorrow.
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 Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah.
Another episode of The Dime. Base.